Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Lynx Global's channel. We're sitting here once again with Mike, and hot off the presses is an interesting news release. Mike, how are you doing? Are you ready to dive in?
Absolutely, man. Thank you very much. It's great to be here again. So let's excited to talk about it.
All right, so let me just jump right in then. So Lynx Global to acquire controlling interest in Philippine-based bank. So there's a lot of interesting stuff in here, mainly that you guys are acquiring something based out of Australia to get 52.15 equity interest in another bank in the Philippines. So can you just kind of work this for people and help them digest it?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely. So basically, as we kind of outlined, this is a bank that's been around since 1961, I think, if I remember correctly. It had an existing ownership structure. A group had come in beforehand and bought a large piece of the bank, 52%. So that company's was going through restructuring. So we came in, and that's a holdco. So there's a holdco that essentially out of Australia, and investors that own the bank. And so we've come in, and the cleanest way to do that transaction is to come in and buy the holdco, and as a result, we get all of the shares. And that's how, in this particular case, we got the 52.15% ownership, which is why there's a bit more of a complicated number than we usually do. So yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So what doors does this open for Lynx going forward?
Yeah, having a bank is a really exciting and kind of a foundational kind of element to fintech business. And I think, fintechs and financial technology, and let's start with payments. Payments, which is kind of our core offering, is at the very top. You have an app, you have technology. When you go on and do a payment, whether it be a PayPal or whether it be an Interact for those in Canada, or an ACH or a SEPA payment for people in Europe, you just go on and you punch in the information, and it happens. But underneath that, there's a bunch of regulatory requirements. There's a bunch of systems that have to take place. And what hasn't changed at all is that there is still a regulatory structure where you have a deposit-taking organization, and you need to have that licensed entity. One of the things that we're very focused on is what we call the tech stack. So, financial technology and finance system is it's coming together. So, if technology sits on top of banking infrastructure, even in the crypto space, which is something that tends to be outside, at some point in time, you have to tie yourself into it. So for us, kind of the optimum of kind of being able to offer services, being able to wholesale these to our customers and to our target market, which are a lot of global fintechs, global businesses, e-commerce that want to come into the market that we're in there. Having that bank and having that deposit-taking institution is very, very important, because we can answer all the questions. A lot of times what happens when somebody comes into a market is, hey, we've got the provider, we've got the technology provider, great. Well, then how are we going to settle? How are we going to do the transactions? So for us, it makes our offering a lot more robust. We're able to offer new payment services because this particular institution was referred to as electronic money issuer licenses. So it is actually a kind of an electronic bank on its own, even though it's an existing bank. So we're able to tie right into the local system, the local banking system. It's called BankNet, which is really the kind of interbank payment system, the ATM network, things like that. And we're able to do a lot more and offer a lot more value. And of course, because we're sitting at the bottom with the bank, we're much more vertically integrated. So that improves margin, profitability, all of those things.
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty significant milestone for you guys to get where you want to be. And I feel like people don't really understand how much work goes on behind the scenes when it comes to banking and payment validation and stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's payments haven't changed a lot in the last 500 or 600 years, so as this has gone. The fundamental, what has to happen, I'm sending you money, you have to receive the money, you have to go somewhere where you get the money out, no matter what the mechanism is, and no matter if it happens in a microsecond or a week. Some transactions, if you ever try to wire transfer money from one country to another, still take a very long time. True. But even if it's in a microsecond, those steps still happen. You don't really jump past them. And it's really important to have all the elements there. And there is a regulatory requirement. I think, a lot of people are still, we see a lot of people that they're anxious to kind of avoid that or avoid the requirements, but still there is a lot of management that has to go to it. Every country, and this is one of our strategic values as people who have operated in a lot of these markets. Every country has its own regime. I spent a lot of time in the telecom industry. We look at it very much like that. If you want to be a telecom operator, first thing you have to do is you have to go into a region or a country. and you have to get a license to operate. Once you have the license to operate, then you're a telecom operator, and people can come in WhatsApp or whoever, or WeChat, or kind of stuff, and you can do things and do business. But that stack has to exist. And the more that you have at the foundation level, the more flexibility you have, the greater your market, the value proposition that you offer to others is greater. So now customers and clients can come to us. And it's not just about having a payment method. It's like, we have multiple payment methods. Do you want to wholesale the service? Things like that. So we find it very exciting. I think it's what you're seeing globally in the industry. A lot of the very large fintechs and even some of the crypto companies, for those people that follow that, they've gone through the exercise of getting their own bank. That's something that you get to a realization that if you really want to grow your business and scale your business, you need to start looking at your license structure and how things operate. I mean, Kraken went and got a banking license recently. SoFi had to acquired a bank because they were going down that process. There's a bunch of other companies that are looking to do the same thing. It's a natural progression. We're very excited because as an early stage company, a company that's quite nimble, and I think has a very good and disciplined strategy to how it approaches its different acquisitions and how we're going forward. It really kind of moves us to what we feel is the kind of the front of the line.
Wonderful. All right. Well, Mike, congratulations. Like you said, this is a big milestone for you guys. If anyone else has any questions about about this news release or anything else going on with Lynx, please don't be afraid to send them over to us. We'll be happy to answer anything you guys got. And of course, stay tuned for more exciting news coming soon. Mike, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much.